Previously on EposVox and Level 1 Techs, and Linus Tech Tips, and Gamers Nexus.
I wanted to build a video transcoding and encoding server.
What?
Something is going on with the server, and we haven't been able to work on a project for more than like 30 minutes at a time before the server crashes.
You never want to rebuild something like this if there's a possibility you're going to have to go to a data recovery service.
So I showed up at Level 1 headquarters and made myself at home, and I'm the only one here.
We started to uncover the absolute mess of data errors.
How can we take what Linus would do and somehow use worse parts but make a really cool server?
Basically all you do is just patience. Patience is the key here. So we're going to use a lapping stone. We're going to use the rough side to take away a lot of material.
Upstairs, Wendell got to work fixing the busted CPU.
The disk configuration will change, and your old server is going to be pressed into use for an off-site backup.
I have spent a ridiculous amount of money, and we're going to build a new NAS here for my workflow, because my Unraid box, which was built from a janky old Norco disk shelf I got from Wendell over at Level 1 Tech's basement, and a bunch of random disks I've acquired over the years, it's finally kind of on its way out.
If you, like me, have been putting off making your own NAS because it seemed like too much added work, give this a shot. Grab an old computer, throw some hard drives in it, and give TrueNAS a try. It could not be more simple.
You suck at this. You put those in. This is your fault.
You distracted me.
But yeah, 600 days of uptime.
The first few months of using my new storage server was amazing. I spent a long time getting all of my various footage archive folders off of my scattered storage servers and hard drives and whatever all into one place so that I could start having it easy to access and start making videos where I referenced more of it over time. And that was glorious. It was working great. But it was very short-lived, as I was in the middle of editing a really big video, Resolve kept slowing down, and then out of nowhere, footage that was working fine before just stopped working. Footage that I had just moved to it wasn't even playable anymore in a media player, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was panicking. I checked the TrueNAS status, and all of a sudden I had not one but two disks faulted and ZFS errors galore. My server had secretly been falling apart under the weight of all the data I had just moved to it, and I was none the wiser because I wasn't paying attention. I scrambled to fix this. I started asking for help in my Discord server, researching ZFS and TrueNAS and file systems, and trying to understand what was happening before me. I ordered replacement hard drives, started resilvering the data, and every time I seemingly squashed one problem, more ZFS errors just kept cropping up. I replaced 3 different hard drives, which, keep in mind, these are nearly $400 each, before I realized this just isn't sustainable anymore, and something's gotta give. I put a fan on my HBA, the card that all the drives connected to, and that didn't seem to make a difference. I ran mem tests. Everything came back peachy. No issues there. I finally invested another couple $100 into an even beefier HBA card to connect all the drives to, did not use the onboard motherboard ports anymore, and try to squash this issue. You see, I made a fatal mistake in dumping all of my footage to this NAS. The plan was to move all of my footage to it, get it in one place organized, and then from there, I could sort through it and start making proper backups following the 3-2-1 backup rule I'm always talking about. The problem is, issues started happening as soon as I deleted footage off of other locations, and before I had a backup ready. Following one more drive replacement and the HBA replacement, I thought I had everything under control, and another drive faulted again as I start putting data back on the NAS. I had completely rebuilt the pool from scratch, reinstalled TrueNAS, and was ready to start putting data on it. I made it about 4 to 6 terabytes in, and a drive faulted. Weirdly enough, I rebooted, and the drive seemed to not be faulted anymore. It cleared up about 21 gigabytes of synced errors that it fixed up on the drive, and was working smoothly, but I kept having little hiccups from there. I started to panic. I could not afford to just keep replacing all the drives, and it felt statistically impossible that so many drives were dying. These were factory recertified. They should be in great shape. I finally gave up. I was at my wit's end. I no longer could rely on myself for tech support, so I gave a call to the man, the myth, the legend, Wendell from Level 1 Techs. And he and I started poking around, and I had thousands of PCIe errors. I needed to get this server to him fast. I loaded up in my car, packed everything, drove the long trip back to Level 1 Tech's headquarters. It's been a couple years. I was happy to go back and rushed my baby in.
Doctor, you have to save him. There's PCIe errors at the wazoo.
Yeah, it's a CPU problem.
He's dying.
It's fine.
My
We'll fix
data,
it.
my data, my precious data. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay only because ZFS. Oh yeah, it's haunted. Definitely haunted. Needs more than a volt. Definitely haunted.
Having declared that at best I have power supply and some weird motherboard quirks going on, and at worst I have CPU degradation due to the Intel 13th gen and 14th gen plague, we decided to just scrap my entire build altogether. I still have the case in case I want to play with it, pun intended, but Wendell passed a piece of tech legacy, a lore-filled server. A 45 drives Storinator Q30. This is a 30 drive 4U rack mount server that Wendell has used to rescue data for Linus and for Steve from Gamers Nexus, along with himself, and is now passing to me in my time of need, in my crisis. He is here with a server to end all servers, to help me get my data together. Started performing surgery on my server, getting the drives out of there, loaded it up, imported my ZFS pool, and sure enough, we had no issues. We ran some tests, got things configured. I got a brief introduction to Rocky Linux's Copilot setup, which is what 45 Drives uses for their Storinators. They have a bunch of plugins for it. It is a UI that is fairly similar to TrueNAS. Got some basic ZFS stuff up and running, got a new pool made. Since I have a couple spare drives from all the replacements I did, I went ahead and moved from a RAID Z2 to a RAID Z3, and I'm going to pick up an additional drive for a hot spare. And after a couple seances, after, quashing the issues, I made the trek back home and started loading up data on my server. I was only a couple hundred gigabytes in when I did have another drive fault. It appears to have some sort of media errors regarding these sectors. I am in the middle of recovering that right now. I may RMA the drive, but beyond that one drive, I don't have a single other ZFS error on my system, as I've gotten about 12 terabytes into my footage dump so far. My issues seem to be over. I don't know what it is with me and cursed hardware. I previously took my Intel 7980XE to Windows multiple times back in the day as my main video editing desktop processor, and that was basically declared as cursed, and I ended up just leaving it in his basement after spending hours lapping the IHS among other things, and just switched away, and that is effectively what I had to do here as well. I'm concluding this stage of my journey, confident that my data will be safe moving forward, strict with myself that I need to figure out a proper offsite backup practice to implement here, as things have radically changed since my original plan. I'm pricing out drives to fill in both a hot spare drive for my first pool of drives here, as well as a whole second pool so that I can combine my Unraid servers data in here and slim down from 2 4U servers and the Johnsbow N5 my new server was based on into one 4U server that will unlock a lot of potential for me. Planning on picking up a graphics card for that, but ultimately I'm just grateful. Grateful that I have friends as amazing as Wendell is, both in his technical expertise, his hookups, shouts out to 45 Drives, and his willingness to just help the rest of us YouTubers out as he continues to be the one that we all call for data rescue. Maybe not like crucial data recovery, but trying to fix our file systems and our own bad practices. I post updates as things go. probably do some more experiments with the Storinator here, especially with the GPU in there, running some VMs, running Jellyfin, doing some cool stuff. But for now, I'm just going to get my house in order and get my data taken care of. Remember to be kind. Rewind.